I just think that when you lose, when let's just say it, there's the entertainment business, right? And I just think that like as we move into like the next decades and the next generations, going back to like the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, what we had there, we're losing. We are losing it. We're keep on losing it, whether people care or not. Like I care. If the masses don't care, I think that's a problem.
Yo, 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 it's SB the Ghost.
What's happening? It's your boy Screen9.
It's your girl Rapunzel.
This is Anthony Fleming III. Roll up and check out The Wrong Agenda.
Wrong Agenda Podcast.
The Wrong Agenda Podcast.
The Wrong Agenda Podcast.
This is The Wrong Agenda Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Wrong Agenda Podcast. I am your host, Jess Dale, and today I have a very, very, very special guest. We got Vivian Nicole Tesler, right? Said it correctly.
Yeah. Yes.
I did. Hello, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm maintaining. Feels good.
Good.
Well, we could jump right into things here since some people may or may not know who you are. How about you just tell a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So my name is, like I said before, my name is Vivian Nicole Tesler. I'm an artist, and I just dropped my first debut record. It is called Discomatac, and it is a complete nod to the disco era. No big bells and whistles, nothing very changed for this time. I've always been an old soul, and I've always loved basically anything prior to the time that we have now. It's very hard for me to narrow it down. But when I chose to do a disco record, it was very, very clear to me that that was one of my absolute favorite genres. And I just wanted to dive right in and, with all due respect, bring it back to the present.
Okay. You look extremely young. So how disco? How did that happen?
Disco, honestly, from a young age, I was a singer, dancer, actor, literally from the age of 6. And I was that weird 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old that gravitated towards the Hollywood, the silver screen greats, the Hollywood greats. Some of them were Liza Minnelli, her mother, Judy Garland. Like, it was not something that was totally normal for a child. Mm-hmm. And my parents, well, first of all, they loved it. They thought it was awesome. But they really honed in on it. And I really, basically, they threw me into musical theater. And that musical theater journey throughout my young years and my teen years, that really, really honed in my musical styling taste. And so I started listening, in the teen years, I started listening to Donna Summer, the Bee Gees, mm-hmm. Like Gloria Gaynor, all of these beautiful, incredible, not only legends, because they really, really are icons of the time, but people that transformed the music of the time. So yes, I was going from, 30s and 40s and loving jazz and even, R&B and Motown. My musical stylings and my tastes are so vast, so it's hard for me to narrow in on it. Right. But that whole generation of disco stars really resonated with my singing and dancing. And so I think that's where it started, honing in and being like, I want to be a disco star. I want to do what they did in Studio 54. Maybe it was an idyllic dream or, something that I still dream about to this day, to this moment. But it was something that definitely pushed me to do something pretty outside of the box that, we're not hering today, although right. We heard it back then, right?
Yes.
So it was cool. I thought it was cool.
I think it's cool. So when you first started doing music in a recording in a studio setting, did you start like, I want to do disco, or did you start somewhere else and then transition?
this is such a funny story. So no, it actually, we were kind of playing with my sound and seeing, where I because I told you I have a vast musical styling. So my producer and I are like, where are we going to put you? You like a lot,
All
you
right.
know a lot,
Like, let's figure this out.
like, yeah, we have to hone this in. I mean, we can't do like, I mean, later on I could do a compilation album and maybe I'll do that. But for my first one, it was something that I had to really, really like meditate on and really think about. Although I knew in my soul I loved it, what was it going to be? What was it going to be that debut thing that represented me for my first record? Because I'm that old soul throwback person. And so I sat down with my producer one time. I came in and I'm like, I got it. And I laughed because I was, he kind of looked at me like, what is it, Vivian? What is it going
What are
to
you up to
be?
today?
What do you, what, and I said, and I looked at him and I paused and I said, disco. And he goes, disco? Like that. There was a little disco. Okay. There was that he had that moment of like, okay, wait a minute. And that moment of, wait a minute, like this could work,
Mhm.
And it wasn't just because I was hearing things in today's music, although I did. It wasn't, I was piggybacking off of something because I went with a iconic disco sound. Like this is a 1975 record, not something that's happening in 2023. So he was a little bit like taken back, but it took him like probably about 1 or 2 minutes to go, okay, well, I can understand it. And then when I started showing him the music that I was writing and the sounds that I heard melodically, he
Mhm.
started understanding that it was something that was, although it was done in the past, it was done in the past so long ago that in a way it was kind of new to the younger audience and the younger listeners. So, but I said to him, I didn't want to do anything that was a take on disco. I wanted to be disco,
Actual original,
actual
as if
original disco. Yeah, totally. Um, and he was on board with it. He loved it. We had a very similar vision, so it worked out. It was great.
I did listen to the record. It was the amazing part for me was, like you said, I wanted to say, I went into it like disco. I wanted to say, I'm going to listen to this and I'm going to know where this came from. And I listened to it and I said, this is an original record. This is like, this is its own thing, but it's disco. But it's now, but it's disco. So whatever it was, you accomplished that mission because
Thank you.
it is not any other disco record, but it is disco, which is
Thank
great. And
Thank you. Oh my God. We never discussed this before. So this is so this is a big compliment to me. I really, that really means a lot to me, honestly, because that's what I set out to do. And this record took about 3 years to put together.
wow.
So, it was a big piece, a very big commitment, which any record should be for any artist that takes their music seriously. But there was that pressure because it was my first record, although I was performing my entire life on stages since a very, very young age. This was my first piece that I created on my own as a solo artist. So I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
yeah. So this was like it was very emotional for me, like a big step for me in my career.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So are we getting a whole project, a disco project, a whole album full, or where are we going with this?
Yes, yes. It is an 11 song record. Um, full disco, like we said. I am slowly releasing it. Currently, I have two out. I did a little pause for the holiday season only because it's the holiday season. Everybody's focusing on the holidays. So I mean, I didn't think that it was necessarily the right time to release the third track, but it's coming and we have cool things planned for it. But yeah, everybody should be looking out for an 11 song record.
Okay. So
Yeah,
the Millennium Force, I believe that's the second one off the project.
that is the second one off the project.
Okay,
Yes,
so we got
yes.
two. We just
You had two. 9 more.
Okay, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, congrats on that. I think you hit the mark so far. I'm looking forward to hearing more.
Thank you. Thank you
Well,
so
let's
much.
go a little bit more about you. Where are you from?
So originally, I'm from Toronto, Canada.
Mhm.
My parents are Eastern European, Hungarian, Romanian. So a little tidbit about me is that I speak Hungarian fluently, but nobody knows that.
Oh, really?
Only
Well,
my close friends know.
someone's gonna know now.
Now everybody's gonna know now. But yeah, I speak Hungarian fluently. A cool fact about me is that my parents, well, I was born in Canada, but in Toronto, but my parents taught me Hungarian prior to learning English. So when I went to like daycare and nursery school, they needed to have a Hungarian teacher there to be able to communicate with me.
Wow. So English
As
is actually your second language.
it's my second language from like three. So I mean, like, there's no memory of that, you
Right.
know. But I was like an immigrant that was born in Toronto,
But
like
yeah,
you know what I mean? It was comical. So my parents told me that not recently, but like more in my older years, and I was like, that's funny. But the reason they wanted to do that was because my grandparents didn't speak English, so both sides knew Hungarian. One side knew Romanian Hungarian, the other side knew Hungarian. So there was that commonality, and that's why my parents. And I'm really happy they did, because now I have this cool second language.
yeah,
When I go to Europe, and I can just bust it out. So it's cool.
yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, wow, you have a lot of good history there. This is a great story.
It's a unique story.
Yeah, it's very unique. You're very unique. You're doing very unique things. It's very exciting. I'm really intrigued.
Thank
Um,
you.
so in the world of music, what I know you said you're into a little bit of everything, but what really pops out to you now in today's music? What gives you that feeling of what type of things do you like to listen to? Because there's not a lot of new disco to listen to. So what do you like to listen to?
Well, without me going, like, literally, I would be here for 3 hours and
Yeah.
like talking to you for 3 hours. And we don't have that time. But I love what Dua Lipa is doing. I do, I really do. I
Hmm.
think it's very cool. It's very modern, and there are takes on it. So there are takes on disco. So obviously, I resonate to that, and I think that that's, hey, Dua Lipa, if you want to collab, I'm here.
Oh,
Um,
that was gonna be my next question.
right? Did I jump to it?
It's all right.
Um, it's okay. You can skip to the next. So yeah, no, I really love what she's doing. I think it's super cool. It's a now sound.
Mhm.
But how can you I don't even want to use the word hate on, because that's not how I feel. But how can you like not like what someone's doing when you're a throwback individual,
Right.
when you're an old soul. So I love what she's doing. Not so much now, but I'm a big, big fan of Bruno Mars.
Mhm.
I love what Bruno Mars has done. I wanted to give him a little shout out only because I think he's one of the best to do it when it comes down to being somebody who's a throwback singer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is somebody that I totally, totally admire. And like, if I have to throw it really back, because I want to, and I think it's important for people to hear it, especially in the new generation. Because we're hearing a lot of 80s stuff happening in music today, like The Weeknd, obviously. That's another
Yeah.
one that I want to
Great.
talk about. He's doing some
Hmm.
cool, cool stuff, right?
Yeah, he's doing some great.
Um, so, but I mean, throwing it back to Whitney Houston, you know, the late great Whitney Houston, who inspired me. I didn't even mention her, but who inspired me immensely throughout my childhood. Um, and this is gonna be a little bit different, but the voices of Barbara Streisand, who is one of the most iconic voices of
Yeah.
this century.
Right.
So these people, I have to say it, even though it's not today. I have to say it, the inspiration,
Yeah.
these
It lives on.
it lives on, and we're hearing these very vibey, cool sounds right now, but we're losing a little bit of that big singer thing.
Hmm.
And not to say that we have to have the big singer thing, but I grew up on the big singer thing, and I was personally really inspired on the big singer thing. So Whether it's relevant at this very moment or not, I think it's important for me to be like, okay, no, these people were a part of that process.
Going a little deeper into the musical thing, I know we have a lot of AI going on now, like really scary. How do you feel about it? Because they're like trying to recreate the big singer thing, but these are not big singers; these are digital.
Do I need to like talk? Because I like everything just like spoke on my face.
I seen it. Yeah, we don't even have to.
Do I
I,
need to even get? I just think that when you lose, when let's just say it, there's the entertainment business, right? Business. So when you take the human and it just becomes business, then not even I'm a singer, dancer, actor. I'm a solo artist, but I'm a singer, dancer, actor. So I understand how SAG feels. I understand, that whole SAG, the whole situation with SAG, and what happened to the entertainment business as an entirety. I don't even just look at it like as the music business. I look at it as the entertainment business, right? And that in itself, like when going back to it, when you take the human, although they came up with I don't want to out myself, but I mean, I could have been better. Like from the standpoint of that deal, they're proud of it and I'm proud of them. But at the same time, like it doesn't completely negate that they're going to go ahead and start recreating sounds. Will we be compensated for it? Yes. We'll be compensated for it very well.
Right.
And I just think that like as we move into like the next decades and the next generations, going back to like the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, what we had there, we're losing. We are losing it. We'll keep on losing it, whether people care or not. Like I care. If the masses don't care, I think that's a problem, But going back to my original statement, we're talking about the entertainment business,
right.
Not the art. And so the art is where it's naturally going to suffer. And I think it's going to take all of us to get up and scream again and again and again, for that not to considerably they'll keep trying to get it out of control.
Oh, absolutely.
Out of our hands, So I think we need to be strong. We need to keep our ground because humanity, it's a bigger deal. Like humanity as a whole will be affected by it. The people's minds will be affected by it. Social society will be affected by it. We'll fundamentally change. We want to evolve, but I'm not sure how much we want to robot evolve.
We don't want to lose ourselves in the process.
No, and I just think there's such beauty in the human element of music where you're hearing something that is not absolutely perfect, and me who I grew up on the stage, so I mean if you weren't perfect, like that was a problem, right? So I mean I studied in theater school. I went to I didn't mention this before, but I went to a theater school in Toronto, in the same vein as Juilliard type of school. And, we 10 hours a day, we were studying our craft, and that still exists, but as this goes on, I'm not sure if it will. And that's really scary for me,
Yeah. Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Like you said, from every part of entertainment, from the acting to the music, it's a little scary.
It's scary. It's scary. And I really commend all the artists that stood on those picket lines. Like I really, really commend. I was there as well, so I get it. And my heart and my soul and my understanding and they need to work, so they need to move on, and they came up with a deal. But if anything gets pushed again in a direction, I just think that people really need to always continue to put their foot down, because they will try to take advantage of us as much as they can.
Absolutely. That was well said.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's get a little lighter, because that was a lot.
It was passionate. And dark.
So being involved in disco and music, and I see like in some of your promo pictures, you do have the roller skates, and that's like part of the whole disco community and image. Do you actually roller skate?
I actually roller skate.
You know?
I do. I wouldn't say I'm amazing. I'm not an incredible roller skater, but I actually do roller skate. And I actually enjoy going to roller rinks. So while I was doing the record, I was going to roller rinks. And
Uh-huh.
again, I'm like, oh, I'm in Studio 54. Although they didn't roller skate in Studio 54. In my brain, I was roller skating and I was in the club and it was, Gloria was there and it was great, that these things were happening. So, I mean, I think I drew a lot of inspiration and I really love when they come back with throwback stuff.
Mhm.
They recently in LA, they recently opened a Blockbuster and I was like,
Really?
they did. They've
Oh, wow.
opened a block. I could be, maybe it's a pop-up. I'm not sure, but as
Either
I
way,
saw it,
that's amazing.
I know. I mean, nothing to do with the 70s, but
Right.
definitely to do with my youth. So I was like, but I was talking to my dad all the time. I'm like, you had the best generation. It was, oh my God, the 70s, talk to me about it. The amount of research, I've always do research on everything, even before my record. So I had a lot of information, stories, even songs in my record are a lot of stories about the 70s disco scene and what was going on in the 70s disco scene, other than just thinking about lights and disco balls.
Right.
There's a lot of substance in my record about that era, about the people, about like literal stories. So, the lyrics kind of say it all as we go. You're going to hear more, but you'll hear more of it.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it was going back to your question. I do roller skate. I do roller skate. I'm not amazing. My
Mhm.
husband's better than me.
Yeah.
To kind of like drag me sometimes, but I was like, I was doing my
You
thing.
can make it. You can make it around.
I could. I'm proud of that.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I can make it around on my own, but I'm not great. But I
Right,
just love the
right.
feeling and the idea of it. And it's just something that's like forgotten. You know, it has its own culture now, but it's not like, how it
I
was, I
know.
think. But
Right, but that's the thing though. In the 70s, they started that. Now we're
yeah,
just like we want to take a bit of that.
yeah, we're holding on to it. We're
We're
keeping it
holding on.
going.
Yeah, exactly. Which is super cool. Which is super cool. And I
Which
do
is,
like to see that. I like to see 15-year-olds and like 20-year-olds that are rolling around and doing things that they did at that time. So it was cool. I like it.
and just to touch on what you were saying about the Blockbuster, which is pretty amazing. I did notice that Toys R Us stores are starting to open back up. And
I
that
saw that
was a
too.
big part of my growing up. So I was just happy to hear that.
I know, right? Not that we need anything from Toys R Us unless
Right.
we're
But
parents.
yeah, but just knowing that like it just means something to be able to walk into a toy store instead of just ordering things online and just walking
Yeah,
through the aisle and be able to grab stuff. It's just
right.
I
I
want
have like
people to experience that.
yes, yes. I have distinct memories at Toys R Us as a kid.
Yeah.
It was on in Canada. We had something called Boxing Day,
Yeah, I'm
and
familiar. Yeah.
you're familiar. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So okay, so when I remember there was a doll called Magic Nursery, and
Mhm.
you had to feel like it had a little like hat, and you had to feel its hair to see if it was a boy or a girl. And it was like a 90s like
Oh, really?
doll thing, yeah. And it was so cute, and it's so I still think of like I see the face, and I'm like, still so cute. I want a Magic Nursery now. So, anyways, I made my parents. I remember standing in line. I think it was like a 2-hour line for Boxing Day to get this doll, and I'm like running in. I'm feeling the head to see how much hair is, and I wanted a girl.
What
Okay,
I was about to
so
ask what you want, boy and girl.
I wanted like the cliche, like little girl that was a little girl. So I was feeling the head, and I found it, and I remember my parents were like, I remember going through the aisles and wanting more. And my parents like, you got your magic. It was an expensive doll at that time. Like, you got your Magic Nursery. We're done.
That's it. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, let's get out of here. We stood in line for this doll for 2 hours, but it was that, look at me sitting here talking to you about this Magic Nursery doll that we stood in line for, and I have this very distinct, beautiful memory that was so, like non-important, but it was about walking in to an establishment and having that touch and feel, that touch and feel experience.
Yeah, that's amazing. I hope others share that one day. Wow.
I know. If anyone's out there that remembers this doll,
Yes,
talk to my friends
please.
about this. Please let me know. I've looked it up online. I know I can get it like secondhand, but yeah, if anyone remembers it, no one remembers it but me.
Yeah, that one escapes me. I remember a lot of things, but I wasn't really into the doll thing, so maybe it just slipped by me.
Okay. Pogo, I remember too, to like jump over a thing.
Yeah.
Or like skip it.
Skip it. One ties to your foot and it goes around. Now that I remember. Yes.
That exactly. Yes. I'm sure your listeners will remember skip it. But Magic Nursery people.
Actually sort of like, and then I'm about to go into my deep nerdy side. I was really into comic books growing up. Are you familiar with a comic book character named Dazzler?
No.
Well, you can check it out when you get a chance. But just to give you a brief, Dazzler was actually an X-Men character created by the label. I forget what label it is right now, but they had a lot of disco artists and they wanted to promote disco. And they partnered with Marvel Comics to make an X-Men character whose powers were based off of disco.
That is the coolest. I know a lot when it comes to disco. I should have known that. Wow. Oh my goodness. Tell me more.
And I hear that they are planning to actually put Dazzler, the character, in a movie coming up soon from Disney Marvel. So yeah, keep an eye on that. You might want to.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Okay, so you knew this character when you were younger?
Yes, because I played a lot of video games when I was young, and in the X-Men arcade game, Dazzler was one of the characters, and it was always strange to me because I'm like, who is this? Why is this character here? And then I started to see her in the comics, and I'm like, okay, a disco artist. And then as I got older, I started to learn the history of how that came about. And yeah, the record labels kind of worked with Marvel and created a character. Her powers were, I believe, like she can sing and turn her sound into light and things like that. It was a whole disco-based thing. It's pretty cool.
Maybe it was based on me. Maybe they were like, maybe like I wasn't here yet, but they were thinking of a person like me. I'm kidding. That's super cool. I want to play her. It's a girl?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my God, I need to play her.
Yeah.
Marvel.
And just to know that and know that they're resurrecting the character. So that's really interesting. And the timing seems perfect. So.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. People ask me, they're like, I've been asked, have you done it based on timing? I was like, no, I just really like disco music. Loved disco music. Did I hear a little nuances coming out? Yeah, but no one was doing necessarily a disco record.
Right.
Like a Gloria Gaynor inspired, you know?
Just
so
complete disco.
That's cool. That's super cool. Wow. Yeah. I'll be looking out for that.
Well, you gave me a lot, so I hope I left you with something.
Well, you taught me something. Wow.
Yeah.
I do. I know a lot. I know a lot about this stuff. So that's super cool. I'm going to look into it.
Okay. All right. So, we're coming into our, we're doing good. Before we get to where everyone can find you, just leave us with a final message for everybody. Whatever it is you want to tell them, it could be anything from have a good day to check this out, like whatever you want to say to the audience.
There's so many things I want to say today. Can't shut me up. I'm going to say that I hope when I release my next few songs, well, check out Discomatac, my single, if you haven't heard it. Millennium Force is the second single that was recently released. I did a collaboration with F Cancer for that in honor of my mother. So if people have been touched by cancer in any way, Millennium Force is out now, and all the proceeds are actually going to F Cancer. So that's something that I think is important to say. as well as just keep, my handle on Instagram is Vivian Nicole Tesler. You can find me there, as well as on TikTok. My handle there is Vivi Nikki T. They wouldn't let me have my name, so I had to do something a little strange. But you can find me on TikTok as well. And a little message for the audience specifically about music. I hope that even though we're in the digital age and we're doing things that are amazing in a digital way, thank goodness that we have all this incredible technology. Let's remember that we want to keep things human, and we want to keep things. We want to evolve, but we also want to maintain our magic, what we have inside as human beings. So when you're listening to music and you're inspired by anything from back in the day, dig deep and see what these incredible legendary people were doing that brought us to today, and really stay aware, considering we have so much on Google and all of these YouTube videos of all of these people that have some fantastic performances that you can find. But yeah, if you're a musician or you're an artist or a singer or dancer or an actor, keep doing your art and keep persevering, because if you dream of really big things will happen for you.
All right. I love it. Very inspirational. And yeah, I'll throw up all the links and everything. We'll get everything on there so everybody could follow you accurately, get to everything. I just want to say again, thank you. Thank you for giving me your time today and sharing your story. And like I said, I listen to the music. I love it. I'm looking forward to hearing more. It's just great driving music, by the way. I listen to it. Music.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate you for coming. Hope you had some fun, and hope we could do this again maybe after everything is released and we could talk about it, go into detail of the songs and everything that came about constructing the masterpiece that's to come.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for your time, and thank you for having me on. I'm super grateful.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Vivian Nicole Tesler, everyone. We're out of here.
Bye.